Good morning, everyone. Corey here with Ride Suspension, and we will be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly on speed bleeders for your forks. So today we're going to be getting into speed bleeders. There's a lot of things that are going, like a lot of people ask, what are speed bleeders? Where do they come in play? What are they good for? And how to properly bleed your forks. So we're gonna kind of go over, it's gonna be a short video, but longer than most. So we're gonna go into the kind of the design of speed bleeders. So the way they design speed bleeders is they have on, same with the KTM style, Motion Pro, whatever. They have a push button, which is a check valve, releases air from your forks, make it easier to bleed. Saves you time, whatever they want to preach. The problem with that, and I've seen this on every single speed bleeder that has various hours between these ones, Motion Pro, all of them, is they tend to start leaking. So like this one, you can kind of see in the video, it's all oily and stuff. That's because oil was actually coming back up out of it. And if oil is able to come out of it, also water can get in. The big problem with these is they leak, water gets in there when you're pressure washing, riding through rain, creeks, whatever. Water gets in there, and water and oil, as you guys know, doesn't mix. So that happens on almost every single one that I have had come across the shop. The Motion Pro ones with the little blue button, I've had that little top cap actually blow up mid-ride, or I've seen some of my customers where that top cap blew up mid-ride, causing an imbalance of pressure in your forks, where it's, when you're, extending your fork, it's sucking in air, and when you're pushing it out, so you have no actual air bubble in there to help you, create the proper balance of air in there. So when it comes to the air bleeders, the best thing that we can always say is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So OEM caps, you can get anodized ones like these if you want some bling on your bike, whatever. These ones are K-Tex, but the standard screw caps will always be, it's just a peace of mind. You don't have to worry about leaking. You don't have to worry about them sucking in water. You don't have to worry about them blowing apart during the ride, where you're gonna have a lot of problems mid-ride. You don't wanna be, 30 miles from the truck and your speed bleeder blows up and you're kind of SOL. So this is one of the mods we do not recommend. There's a handful of companies out there, suspension companies, that are on the same boat as us. The time difference between pushing a button and unscrewing that is a minute. I mean, a minute to save your, 30-mile ride, 40-mile ride. Some people are doing 60-mile rides. That minute difference could be make or break, because there's no indicating signs of when these are going to break. There's no indicating signs of when these are going to leak. There's no indicating signs of when these are just not going to work. So, of course, we always recommend OEM screws or aftermarket screws if you want, the shiny, flashy stuff on your forks. That's fine. Don't recommend speed bleeders. Never have, never will. You can't change my mind on that. There's some companies out there that make the speed screws where you don't have to have a tool. It's just like a finger screw, and you just unscrew it, let the air out, and screw it back in. Then, now we're gonna get into when to bleed your forks. So a good rule of thumb, whether you're track, trail, whatever, good rule of thumb is to bleed your forks before any type of riding. If you're gonna go out for the day or whatever, before you load it up, or if anything, bleed your forks before then. Now take in mind, when you bleed your forks, you don't want pressure on the fork. So you don't want, like the bikes behind me, you don't want them sitting on the ground. You don't want pressure on the forks or anything like that. Put them on a center stand, put them on a race stand, trackside stand, anything you can to get that front end off. bleed them real quick, put them back, and you're good to go. And that also helps with when you're changing elevations. Say you're going from sea level and you're driving off and you're driving to like where we're at, which is 2,500 feet. It helps adjust your forks to the air pressure around you, where it's not going to feel stiff, it's not going to feel mushy, it's going to make the forks function like they're supposed to. And when we say that, it's kind of a good habit to get into when you're, starting to ride or setting up your ride or anything like that, where you can feel comfortable. But it goes all the way to if you're a pro rider or anything like that, is bleeding your forks helps more than you think. When you're a new rider, you don't really notice it. You just kind of think, oh, I'm having an off day. My forks feel like they're hard and they're stiff and I'm just getting beat up. A good portion of that could be, if your forks are set up for you, a portion of that could be too much air pressure built up in the fork as it's cavitating through the system. So bleeding it is great. And of course, it's recommended before every ride. What we don't want is you to bleed it while it's on the ground, like I've already said, because that causes a negative pressure, and then your forks don't want to, when they go to expand, they don't want to fully expand properly, causing a vacuum, and it sucks it back up. Again, same thing. Instead of overpressure, it's negative pressure, causing your forks just not to work properly. So if you guys have bleeders, if you have the speed bleeders, don't fall for the gimmicks. There's a lot of gimmicks out there. There's a lot of stuff that's like, oh, this will improve your riding. This will improve the ease and everything like that. Don't fall for it. More times than not, I was guilty when I first started riding to bleed the forks while they're on the ground. You learn, you do better, you teach. So with these, just throw them in the trash. Don't worry about it. Throw them in the trash. They're done. Don't have to worry about them. Screws you don't have to worry about. Make sure you clean the O-ring that's underneath the screws. Super easy, but you can do that, or we do that when we service your forks. So get rid of those speed bleeds, put OEM screws in, and forget about it. You don't have to worry about them leaking or anything like that. So if you guys have questions, comments, likes, shares, follows, all those are appreciated. Comments are obviously appreciated. I want to, put some light into this dark world of suspension that, people don't really think about. So I'm Corey with Ride Suspension, Ride Beyond the Limits. Thank you. Have a good day.